Hi everybody, my name is Coffee Brown and this channel is Coffee Spills the Tea. And today is, I'm grabbing my coffee, is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. Now, I'm gonna just take a sip of my delicious coffee. Mmm, delicious. So here's what we're gonna be talking about today is number one, what are the little things that you can do around your house to like maybe find money in places where you hadn't found money. I also just want to make sure that I'm checking in with people and making sure that you are doing what you need to do for inner peace. Because as a black woman, as I said, this channel is for black women, people like me who are a little bit tired. We are going we have been doing it all. We have been taken for granted by society in general. This last election was a referendum, right? 2024 election, presidential election, referendum. And it is time for us to now rest. We're going to rest and let all of the pandemonium go on around while they fix the problems that they made. We, the 93%, that voted correctly, are going to do our part to have mental peace of mind and do what we need to do in order to keep it moving. And so, as I said, I don't know what this channel is going to turn into, but part of my thing is that I am checking out physically at some point. My hope is to check out physically, and so I will be moving overseas. That's my hope. That is my dream, and that is what I am working towards. For some people, they may say, "Hey, you know what? I want to stay here, but I just need to find something to keep me grounded." So I'm just gonna kind of run through some things today, just to kind of like make sure people have a plan, that they're doing things to keep themselves safe, and then just look for ways that you can make some money around the house if you're like in a situation like mine where I'm just like, I am not employed right now. Now, that will probably change. I'm looking for very specific types of jobs where I can stay remote. I'm in IT. I just graduated from college about a year ago, and I am looking for something specific because for me to be able to leave the country, I need to show that I am a digital nomad of some kind, or I have a business or something along those lines. Most countries will not allow you to just go into a country, set up shop, or not set up shop, but go put out your resume and be like, I'm looking for a job. You're taking away from the jobs of their citizens. So it's just better for you to have something before you go. And that's why I'm being very specific. Things you can do to save money as well. I have my coffee. And the reason why I'm drinking it and showing you, look at the froth on the top. So as I said, one of the things that I do is I freeze things as much as possible. Things that I hadn't thought about previously, but with tariffs coming and everything, I've been stocking up, putting things away, buying things, freezing things. And one of the things I did was I love coffee brown. And so I have a lot of half and half that I purchased when they were on sale really cheap. They were like, I think like $1.99 for like a quart or something like that. And I was like, okay, so I got like 5 quarts. If you 5 quarts, I put them in 16-ounce sealable airtight containers, and I put them in my freezer. And so now I'm just starting to pull them out. And as you can see, this milk is fine. And I frothed it. And now I'm able to drink it. And so, no problems. Now, like I was a little bit worried because initially when it came out, and then I got, I put it inside of I kept it outside of the refrigerator for like a few hours. And then I was like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to let it, um, I guess, like defrost on its own inside of the refrigerator. And so when I opened it up initially, it was like a little chunky. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. That means that it's actually spoiled. And I sniff it and I'm like, okay, there's nothing going on here. I'm just going to go ahead and see. Because if it's really spoiled, it's going to curdle. It's not going to froth at all. You know, like, you're not going to get this. You're going to get like just curdled milk and whatnot. So I suspect that that's just from the crystals that are inside, and I kind of looked it up, and it looks like that's what people have been saying. I also have been making my eggs, which I cracked eggs and put them inside of like 32-ounce containers. I have about 10 of those now left. 10 or so. I took one out and I let it defrost. I showed it to you in a previous video. It has defrosted. I have made my egg sandwiches, and they are delicious. My egg and cheese sandwich. So they are working. And so I highly recommend that if you have foods that you want to buy and they are perishable, you're either going to get the Ziploc baggies that you get in the freezer, Ziploc baggies that you can put things in, and then you have to roll it up until you get all the air out, and then zip it with all the air out, zip it closed, and then get a marker. Here's my Sharpie, and then write the date that you put it into the bag, and then put it inside the freezer. That will help you so that you can, and then I put them in the freezer, and like as I get newer ones, I move the new ones to the bottom, and then the older ones stay towards the top. Now, I haven't bought eggs in a long time because I bought 30 pack of eggs back when they were $3.99 each for a 30 pack. And I bought like 4 or 5 packs of 30 packs or so, and they're all in the freezer. So I have like all those things, and I am now just slowly running through my eggs. This is really good coffee. Also, coffee beans. I purchased coffee beans. They are also, and I say, oh, you should never refrigerate. I disagree. I've had coffee that I purchased in Vietnam as long ago as like 12 or 13 years. Coffee from like Sweden from like 16 or 17 years ago. I'm not kidding you. In the bean, and I have like put them in airtight, freezer tight bags, and I have carried them from one place to another when I travel, and just started going through them in the last, I would say, year or so, and they taste just as good as when I purchased them. So don't believe all that, oh, they only last so long. If you put them in an airtight bag, I don't care what they say, you put them in the freezer, they might lose a tiny bit of the flavor, but they're still good. I would say, highly suggest you do that. So freeze as much as you can. Get canned fruits and vegetables. They will last a long time in the canned. You don't have to put them in any kind of freezer or whatever. As long as they're canned, and you don't open them, they're okay. So I'm going to recommend that you do that. You should still be doing the things that I recommended. I really think the most important thing is that you make sure that you get your real ID and get it sooner than later. The real ID is the new ID that driver's license that comes out, and they're supposed to be like harder to counterfeit, I guess. They're going to be required in order for you to get on a plane and travel or anything. And so better for you to do it now, because I believe the official deadline is like May 7th, and then they have all kinds of extensions. But I don't know what's going to happen when May 7th comes. They could easily say, okay, well, we're going to give you a deadline, but you can't get on a plane or something. Just go ahead and get it. Once you get and in order for you to get your real ID, you're going to need a birth certificate. So you need to contact the Bureau of Vital Statistics for whatever state that you're in. Request, as I recommend, you get 2. Request 2 birth certificates. It's probably going to cost you about $5 or so per birth certificate. Get it for yourself. Get it for your family members. Each of you will get your own. It will cost per copy, and it's an original. It's not actually even a copy, per original birth certificate that they give you, like $5 or so. So you'll do that. You'll get that. Take it to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state. Get your real ID. Get it sooner than later. It's going to take a while once people start pushing at the last second to get these things. Once you have that, then you want to start putting money aside so you can, I recommend, get a passport. You will have to take a picture of the front and back of your driver's license, your real ID, and your birth certificate. Well, actually, I don't know if they're going to require your driver's license, but just still assume that they're going to remind. But they are definitely going to demand that you have an original birth certificate. You will take that. You'll have to get online, Google where the nearest post office is that will allow you to bring in your passport, or sorry, bring in your documentation, which is, I believe, 2 passport size ID, or 2 passport size pictures, which you could either go to like Walgreens or CVS if you're in the United States, or they do on some people's phones have the like passport size photo pictures that you can take, which my sister did. Take that over to the DMV, or sorry, to the State Department, or sorry, to the, I'm glitching. You want to take that over to the post office where you have all your application and give it to them. They will mail back at some point in the near future your original birth certificate, and they will mail your passport. Not together. They usually will come separate. So I also want you to make sure that you register to vote. Make sure you register to vote. If you don't want to be like hassled by people, don't pick an affiliation. There's no need. I just don't see the need for it. I'm not going to say I'm Republican or Democrat anymore. I'm just going to stay independent and vote based on what I think is best. So make sure you set up that voting registration. You want it to match whatever is, I think, whatever's on your driver's license. There's this big thing, brouhaha, about how it has to match your birth certificate. But, if you're married, what's going to happen if you take your significant other's last name and then that's replaced? If you're going to be voting, you probably have to bring a copy of your marriage certificate, a copy of your driver's license, and make sure that they're clear that you are registering in such a way because you have married. It may come down to that, because as I said in the last video, there's a reason why we are being disenfranchised from our vote, because our vote has power. So what better way to disenfranchise us and take away our power but to make it difficult to vote, which is what the whole Jim Crow law was all about. The Voting Rights Act of, I think, 1965 has pretty much been gutted out by the Supreme Court, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. So just be ready for that. So voters, voting ID, or make sure you register to vote. Even if you're already registered to vote, just go back in. I would go back in and check a few months before every election and just make sure you're registered to vote, because every now and again people like the governor of my state will go in and just purge the records, especially if you haven't voted in a while. They'll just purge the records and not tell you anything. Then you go to vote the day of, and then what happens? You're not in there, and then you have to do a provisional ballot. Will your vote count? I don't know. You know how they like to just count the vote right away, and then they're like, okay, it's over. And are they still counting? Yes, but they just kind of like say, this is the official count. Okay, we're going to call it, and they're still counting provisional ballots. It's kind of nuts, so just be ready for that. Okay, so I'm done with that. Just focus on that. I have closed out my Amazon accounts. The only one I did not close out was my my Amazon account or a fee that I had realized, which is the insurance, the Azurion, ASURION. And I did not close it out. I was paying $16.99 a month for the complete Azurion insurance. And here's the stupid thing. I had also paid for Azurion for individual products, and not realizing or forgetting that I had paid for this monthly, which is the Azurion Complete, which covers everything electronic that I buy. And I was like, wait a minute. I have electric blankets that stop working. I can have this electronic electric blanket like returned. So I checked with them and they're like, everything that's electronic, you could just go ahead and just give it a shot. And I was like, okay. So I have pulled it over, and I'm going to just pause this so I can show you my graveyard of equipment that I'm going to get ready to return. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm trying to give you a good viewing of this, right? This is like my graveyard of everything that I purchased so far from Amazon that either doesn't work or stopped working or whatever. So, do you want to have a way of like getting your money back? If you have what I have, and you have that Azurion Complete that they kind of scammed you into buying, and you're paying $16.99 a month for it, guess what? They have to pay you the regular price. So they have to like take it back and pay you back the regular price. I'm returning this, I'm returning these things, I've got like these things. This represents about $150 to $200 worth of products that I'm going to be returning. And I already returned a monitor that was $138. Now I'm just going to kind of show you around here. So I have, as you can see, this is really bad video. I'm trying to get this. Oh, you know what? What's better? Hold on. Let me do this. There we go. All right. So here's my graveyard of shame. I'm going to call it the graveyard of shame. All right. So those are things that have broken or whatever. The pile is growing because I still have my electric blankets. I have 2 electric blankets that I can return. Now, these are things that I purchased that were like Halloween things. I'm no longer doing Halloween because I'm going to be moving overseas. So all of these are going to be sold. Can I return them? I certainly could, because I got warranties for all of these things. But I'm going to sell them to neighbors. Here's more things. These are my Christmas items that I'll be selling to neighbors and stuff. This I'm taking, but I also wanted to show you, I've got like this whole skeleton band thing going. And then these 3 boxes are all werewolves. So all of these are going to get sold, and they're going to go towards my Coffee Brown is Moving Fund. But all of this stuff is Halloween. Here's the other thing. I'm going to just pause because I don't want you to see my entire crazy going on here. Oh, by the way, because I have all those Halloween things, that means I have plenty of plugs, and these are heavy duty cords that I could sell as well. There's about 6 of them, so they're going to be sold. And I'm going to pause this so I can show you my other thing that I've been working on, that I've been telling you guys about, you ladies about.